Well, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. People coming in. Um, so this week we're breaking into it. We got rivalries to talk about, and honestly, later on too, we're gonna get into Akola, the rising Steve star. As you all know, we here very big Steve fans. Play the character ourselves. I think he's really good. Akola proving it right. So you love to see that. I'm Apollo Kage.
And I'm Icon.
What's up, y'all? Um,
How are you doing today, man? I haven't talked to you in a little bit.
whew,
We've been chatting here and there, but
okay.
it's been a little bit weird not seeing you in person since a week or two.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I'm actually recording, or yeah, this is live. So we're recording this the day before I leave to Oregon. We didn't bring this up in like the pre-discussion, but I'm going to Back in Blood for tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing singles and doubles. I'm actually doing doubles with Send at Back in Blood 4, so that's gonna be fun. I'm not sure how
Pretty
that's
cool.
gonna go, but Snake Nest seems pretty toxic, so I'm all about it.
All about it.
Um,
He's a good doubles player too.
yeah, yeah, no, probably one of the best in the world, honestly. Like him and Louis Money are menaces at majors. Let me tell you.
True, true.
But so I've been, I don't want to say up and down really, because like I just say like recent times my local sets have been getting harder, which is a lot of fun. Um, like for example, Colorado at the beginning of the season, he got 5 set wins in a row on me, or no, four. He got four. So he got four right, and then I fought back on that with 5 in a row, and then he beat me on Monday. So we went to a local yesterday, which is SLU Esports, St. Louis University. Shout out to Chu. We went to that local, and I went there, and I met Colorado in winners finals, and eventually I managed to 3-0 him, and I fought Luma, and it was 3-2 against them, which is like the last. Luma beat me 3 sets ago as well. Like at that Monday localist, I lost to Colorado and Luma. So
Mhm.
then I was able to get runbacks on Luma that same day, and I lost game 5 and second set of Grands to Colorado. And then the next time we fought, I managed to clutch it 3-0 against Colorado and 3-2 against Luma. So it's like I was actually talking about it to my homie Wolf Pro. So we were talking about how like when you play someone enough, especially at like a local level, right? It like the Yomi that you're going to is past pretty much almost like any Yomi that you'll face at a major, unless like it's a previous grinding partner. Like maybe a Wi-Fi grinding partner is the exception there, right? But like most of the time at a major, you're playing like at not that high of an adaptation level. So it just like I think rivalries are super healthy for just like whenever players have like that extra trick in the bag, right? They have like the extra trick in the book. They got that like that one little thing, and they're like, oh, it's so small, but it won them a neutral interaction. Like that. That is those are the kind of things that rivalries build. And I know that you've been kind of going through rivalry stuff yourself recently, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So before I forget about it, good luck at Back in Blood. PNW is a very good region. You're gonna kill it. Awesome.
Oh,
Looking
thank you,
forward
thank
to
you.
watching all that. I got a small Chicago-ish monthly coming up tomorrow, a couple days on Saturday, so I'll be looking forward to that. I think Sean the Falcon is coming, so that'll be exciting. Very, very fun.
Oh, good luck, good luck.
Um, so that'll be fun. But yeah, we're talking about rivalries first. I've actually been going through it too. Yesterday was my first tournament since Low Tide City.
Okay.
Felt really nice to be back in the Chicago scene. Let me say that.
Yeah.
And I had a game, my first game 10 set, game 14 total with Sam T. Silver, formerly Yumu. And he clutched
Ooh.
it out after I think I've been 3-0 on him this season. So
Okay.
I think I got one, he got two last night. So it's been a lot of studying, and it's something that I've been thinking about a lot more lately is that deep level that players can be playing at the local level. Like his Mario is doing things that I've seen no Mario do against me, and I'm sure there's no other Ryu that's really been taking that matchup to a whole different level with like
Yeah.
dagger pressure and baiting out up Bs and edge guarding with cape, and it's a lot of crazy stuff. But recently I've been thinking about it, and I think the best way I can describe rivalries are two things. One, really, really good at getting your brain back motivated for the game because you
Yeah.
always have somebody you're looking forward to play, beat, challenge you, and push you to your limit. Recently, it's been him. And secondly, you're getting probably some of the best composure experience that you can get.
Yeah.
Um, I've learned recently I don't really do that good in a lot of game 5, game 10, game 3 situations. Generally, I do pretty good, but there's always 2 things that I'm dropping, and there's always some sets that I'm losing that I feel
Mm,
like I shouldn't be losing. So, being able to get more experience with that will honestly come such a long way when the stream nerves are at the peak at the major, right?
yeah.
So, those 2 things are on my mind right now.
Okay. So one thing that I will go into off of that is that um actually it's a phenomenon that happens a lot of the time when people are going to make an upset. So whenever I was at SLU, I was playing with Zoro, who is one of my Metaphy students from my scene. Whenever he first came into the scene, he plays Joker, and he got like a lesson or two just to see what's up and kind of like get an idea of how to grind and all that good stuff. So I taught him some stuff, and he actually took me to he had a lead on me game two, like when I was down 1-0 in Joker Snake. So he was playing it super well. And then we got to the last stock, and he started doing forward smashes, and he started doing the committal options. And it's like the way that I feel about things in those situations. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's like what happens a lot of the time. I feel, at least from my experiences, is people will just something will shift, and it like you said, it could be the game five trigger for you, for example, where it's like as soon as that thing happens, as soon as that game five starts, like something shifts in the mindset or something shifts in the play, like whether it be like the confidence is not there because there's more on the line, right? This is the last possible game. Like there's not like there is no room for comfort that knowing there could be another game if you mess this up type thing, which I actually
Mhm.
think helps me thrive because in those scenarios like it's all or nothing. So I that's like where I kind of like vibe with the pressure the most myself. So in those scenarios, I think people often will change up something about their play, and I think what the my like what the conclusion that I've come to for the best way to deal with those scenarios is I try to keep playing the way I have been the whole time. Because whenever I was playing against, for example, Spargo, right?
Mhm.
I played how I wanted to. I played like myself. I still lost, but I was able to play like myself. And by losing and playing like that, I feel like that's the easiest thing to gain the most off of because you understand the thought process that you had the most whenever you're going
Agree.
back, right? So it's like in those moments, even though it can feel like more, in reality, it's just like game one. Like it is literally just a game. Even if there's no more games after, like you can't worry about that at the time. Yeah, like it's just focus on the game, and in that moment, you just gotta play like yourself. Play like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If what's like been playing or if how you've been playing has got you to game five, I feel like you should play like that and just add in a few reads. Like that should be the mind blowing change to your gameplay. But if you're changing up too much and becoming like too like flowcharty or just too risky with things, like you're doing too big of commitments, I feel like that can get stuffed out really easily, especially in someone who's like ready for that game five pressure because they know they have to make the most of every mistake. So if you're like offering more mistakes up on a platter, like subconsciously, right? Like you're not even trying to do that, but it's just like how the human mind and how our hands can work sometimes. Because you're not, if you're not fully on point, your reactions are going to be a little off, and you're gonna like be more inclined to pull the trigger in not wise areas. So it's like
I
maybe
agree.
maybe in a game where like if it's game one or two, you'll reset and you'll be like, this is not a situation that's favorable for me. But in that game five, you feel frantic and you feel the need to win that scenario because who knows, if you don't win that scenario, you might lose the next neutral interaction and die. But it's like you can't worry about that in that moment.
No, no, you can't.
So
And I think that's something that's really, really important. Just backing off of that,
okay,
trying to it's so easy to get caught by the greed of like this might be a mix-up option, right? The problem is I feel like those mix-ups need to be saved for like wise circumstances, not
yes,
circumstances where things are just kind of going to happen, you know?
yeah. So it's like the conflict of interest there. And one thing I
Mhm.
will say is whenever you were talking about it earlier, you said that you should like you feel like you shouldn't be losing stuff. So
Mhm.
what how I like to go about that is I try to replace the word should with could in my vocabulary frequently
Yep.
because I noticed that whenever I would say should, I would have a noticeably worse mentality with things because
Mhm.
should, even if it's not always like it can't always be like portrayed as this, but sometimes it can be indicative of like entitlement in your brain, right? Because you're like, oh, I should have done that. So like from switching that word to could have, like, oh, I could have done that. I could have clutched it a lot of the time. I feel like that helps me get like a more clear view of the scenario and things in general. And it's like that might not be the case for others, but like for me, it's like little tricks like that, like just saying could have instead of should have, right? Because could have, that's me telling myself I could do it. Like I believe in myself enough, like I could have accomplished that. Which, but it's not like it's not saying like I had that, like I can't, I shouldn't have let that go. You know what I mean? So it's just like I feel like the changing of words and the word usage is really important in those specific scenarios because I feel like that's a time where you're like critical about what you want to fix. So that's a time where it's like you're maybe going to take it more seriously than you usually do, right? Because like even if you're a jokester, or even if you have times where you're not serious, sometimes like if you're super passionate about something or if you have a lot of drive for something, there's going to be a time where you're like, okay, I want to do really well in this because I love it a lot. So I'm going to take some time to seriously reflect and just do whatever I can to play it as best as possible. So it's like in those moments, I feel like that's like where you got to be careful with the word choice because like the one wrong word, and I actually think that can lead into advice as well. Like some people, they'll get advice from someone and they'll be like, what? And then they'll get advice worded in a different way from someone else and they'll be like, oh, that makes so much sense, right? I feel like it can
Yeah.
be the same way with that in the way that we talk to ourselves and just like the subtle changes, right? Because like when you first say it, you might not even realize it, but I feel like little changes like that just allowed me to like approach it with less shame that I lost. Because it like no one likes to watch themselves lose, because like whether for some people it's like they just hate that, but for others it's just like they cringe because like they understand the right thing. Like Light's response, Light had a response about it where he was just talking about like he doesn't watch sets because like he understands the solution in the moment, and when he sees himself make the wrong play when he understands the solution, he's like, I don't want to watch that. So it's like different for everyone, but I feel like in those moments, just like little switches like that are key. I didn't mean to put
It's
you on
also
blast there, but I was just like
yeah, yeah.
elaborate. My bad.
Honestly, that was the friend speaking, not the
Yeah.
podcast.
I'm like,
Yeah, I mean that means so much.
no worries,
Honestly,
no worries.
it's also crazy because these are really good players that we're fighting, and it's players that I have a lot of respect for, like
Yes.
Colorado, like Santi Silver, right? So much respect for all
Both
these
of them,
players.
man. Both of
Yeah,
them.
crazy good players. Honestly,
So stressed.
top 100 NA
Yes.
free in my
Free.
mind.
Free.
So playing against them and pushing them to that was the first time in a long while where I played a set and I was like, I'm just tired. Like I don't really know what to say. I was like, you
Like,
played better, you played really well, but it was just a matter of like you got it, and that was really
yeah.
really
Like
and
sometimes.
I think going
They,
back to the
yeah.
opponent and there was
Mm-hmm.
no really ego. It was just kind of like you studied it, you played really well. I tried to adapt, you adapted back, and it kind of came down to the wire and
Yes.
you clutched it. So much so that
Let's
it was like a
go.
really, really. It's also good because I know I've been a mental block to him for a little bit, and probably you and Colorado have been mental blocks to each other.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so conquering that means the ball is kind of now back in my park, or the ball will be
Yeah.
back in. So now it's on
Oh,
me to make the
that's
adaptations and get further.
oh,
It's a good feeling.
that's a good way to word it. Like
Yeah.
a rivalry is like the transition of a ball.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
the ball is now in my court. It's like volleyball. You got three hits.
Yeah.
You got to get it over the net. Otherwise, that point's gone. Right. So how are you going to use those three hits?
No.
We're going to change the gameplay and then put the ball
Yeah.
back in their court and see how they get onto you and vice versa. Because you guys are both growing together.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the beauty of locals. Is like, especially when you've played multiple sets against each other. Like I'm talking
Yeah.
like more than 10 sets.
Exactly.
It
The
gets to a
Yomi.
point.
The Yomi's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, it gets to a point where it's like you guys just want to just keep playing more and more, and it's just I'm sure everybody has had this in their region. I know Louis Money and Kurama have it. They've talked to me about it. I know
Mm-hmm.
Varun and Louis Money have it, right? I know probably Quinn and Chase have it, right? Just
Yes,
a lot of great
yes.
players
All of them.
have so many sets that they want to get through that mental wall. So yeah, it's really, really good. Respect for just being able to be in that position. And I think
Yeah.
you worded it best, right? It's always the could, right? It's never a should.
Yeah.
No ego is needed, right? We're young, we're strong players, we're moving,
Yeah,
right?
because sometimes
If you
like
have an ego,
slip in.
sorry, continue.
No, no worries. I'm just saying like sometimes like right, you're not even trying to, but it just slips in there. You just gotta like be mindful and not let it slip in. Like that's like the hardest part. So
Agreed. Because
it
everybody has ego, but
yeah,
it's just a matter of like how it's projected or how you value yourself in light of other people.
yeah, like the whole talk of difference between confidence and arrogance type thing. Because it's like too much confidence can be a detriment, but not enough confidence can be just as much of a detriment, right? Because it's like in those moments, like I okay, so for me for example, I go to last hit a lot. I don't know.
You do.
I
Oh,
like
Yeah.
I seem to really like that spot. Apparently, like the clutch situations. Like, nah, I can't. I have to. Like, my tournament stock's got to be on the line. But in general, what I'm saying is like the difference between being able to keep a level head in those scenarios and just like just mashing a button out there and hoping it hits is the confidence. Because like I have just as much confidence when I'm at a lower percent as I do like in a last stock last hit scenario, because it's just like you got to realize, right, it's all burst ranges, nothing changes, it's literally just burst ranges. So it's like just because you're at 0 or just because you're at 200, it doesn't matter. That back air is not going to get any longer than it already is. So it's like
True.
even though you're a scary percent, as long as you have like an idea of timings and you have your spacing down, like I'm perfectly fine in that situation. And I feel like that a lot of the time has allowed me to clutch out sets that I wouldn't say I don't deserve, but that are like very, very, very down to the wire sets that could go either way. But they happen to go my way a lot of the time because I'm not afraid to press that button. Because if you're afraid to press that button and it doesn't go your way, then you're like that's so much harder to review than if you press that button and you end up either succeeding or not succeeding. Because like there's a clear answer there. So it's like sometimes you gotta wait, right? And I guess like waiting can give you the answer, but I feel like a lot of the time, like if you press the button, there's like a clear counterplay, you know what I mean? And sometimes that counterplay is just waiting. So it's like being able to decipher what's up.
Sorry, sorry. I just want to jump in.
No
It's
worries.
also really important because you're able to learn when to swing the button if you learn when it's getting punished.
Yeah.
Well, remember. Oops, sorry. There we go. But yeah, just gave you a host real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I want to start doing that. But yeah, I think it's very, very important to be able to take advantage of the buttons that you press, and more importantly, the situations where you can push them, which honestly all comes down to experience. And with multiple sets, you'll get the experience in no time to fight these characters and players at such a high level.
Yes. Um. Okay. So.
It's a good way to bookend that a little bit.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about our next topic. So, do you want to? What's up?
Slingshot.
Slingshot. Okay. Yeah, we can lead into that. I know. Okay, I know where we're going from here now. So, Slingshot. All right. Slingshot for Snake.
It looks cool. It looks cool.
It looks usable. It looks cool. But for Snake, it's gonna be he's got like 2 uses. So it's like for Snake, it's very niche. But let me tell you, if you thought like scramble situations were rough, things are about to get a lot more hectic on Shield. I'll tell you that.
Oh, the spot dodge cancelers are fiending, bro. I think it's so funny because the FGC community has always been doing this tech because that's how you like move with the character. So when I see people like talk Slingshot, I'm like, oh, the Roy and Croms have also been doing it for so long, but they've been doing it out of a frame 1 or 1 frame window for IRAR, but this increases the window to 7, right?
Yeah.
So it's always funny to see people talking about it, but the backdashers and the sorties got a huge W for this, bro, because they can now face you while that dashing away.
Not the Lucas buffs. He's broken.
Oh, God.
Don't be surprised if Lucas becomes a top 20 character. There's a Lucas in Europe named Nitox Nidox. Nidox. Yeah. No, he's insane. When that guy travels, please do not seed him into me. Any major TO watching this, please, I do not want the smoke with that character. Like, they're gonna start doing like drift away forward air. How does Snake punish that? How does he do that, bro?
Just dash attack, bro.
Yeah, just dash attack as he's floating away from me, dude. No, but I think it's a cool tech. I don't think Snake can use it too much because he's not really tapping shields, and that's kind of where the space helps it. Because like even if Bear taps shield, it's not auto canceling. Little Snake tech there. But what he can do is he can do slingshot grenade pull, and he can cross up people with short hops and grab them. So it's like if someone doesn't react to it, or you've conditioned them to shield very well, you can also like just cross them up, get a grab, get that setup going. But aside from that, I think it's going to be mostly something that I'm going to have to worry about punishing rather than worry about using. Also, that's a good point. Real quickly, I want to shout out Evil Mega Steve for this overlay. He watched the podcast and sent out a few pictures, like the few overlay stuff. You know, we got the Ryu over there, we got the Snake over here. Looks super nice. So shout out to @EvilMegaSteve on Twitter. Super homie. Thank you so much.
I should be pointing to the the top of Doobert discussion right there.
Yeah, there you go. Doobert discussion. You already know.
Shout outs to all this.
You already know.
So very, very nice. Shout outs to him. We're leveling up, guys. We forgot to mention that. Sorry, but thank you, Evil Mega Steve. Huge shout outs. Um, follow him on Twitter, I think, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sweet, Google, sweet. Um, sorry, continuing with Slingshot, you had some
Okay,
stuff to talk about.
so I kind of said like my piece with Snake. I think like in general it's gonna be cool to see when optimized. And I think players like Leo and Spargo are literally already jumping on it. So it's gonna be one of those things that develops in the meta. But I think we'll have to wait a few majors before it's like before it's like ingrained in play. But when it starts getting ingrained in play, I think like the subtle differences are gonna become like less subtle over time, right? Because if people are just using that over and over, if there's no like clear counterplay to it other than just like respecting and taking space, that's gonna be spammed in the corner, especially. Like there's no reason not to do an aerial retreating to center, especially at kill percents, if like they can't realistically punish it without like a super hard like read the option after type beat. You know what I mean?
Uh,
Yeah, like
right.
those things.
The beauty of this tech especially is being able to dash away, obviously hurtbox shift and jump away, right? I've seen Sheik do some nasty hurtbox shifting. Um, but also still face the opponent, right? So I always do that anyway, so I'm not really too worried about it. But like Sheik is a character that like has a really, really safe forward air. But
Yeah.
if she hits your shield, she dashes away, she's not gonna be able to set up that forward air without like turning around, then jumping towards you again, right? This
Yep.
slingshot allows her to face the opponent while still retreating, which is going to make her pressure even more broken if it already wasn't, right? -2 forward air, -2 forward air, -2 forward air. You have to call the jump, -2 forward air, oh, long lasting nair, cut your jump, GG's, nair bouncing fish, right? Stuff like that. Very, very
GG's.
great tactical plays. Characters like Cloud, actually, I don't think are actually going to benefit that much from it because they always did dash away and they're already facing you anyway for another back air that they just did on shield that's -3. So if you want to maybe back air forward air, sure, it works. Back forward air is -6 and has more range, I
Yeah.
think. But you
But
know, Cloud's not going to get much from it, I think. But he's
mm,
also going to be moving a lot better in neutral, which might be the more important general movement for characters and players like Spargo.
Cloud's gonna be a problem. Cloud's gonna be a
He
problem.
already is. He already
Like
is, bro.
cause like I can just it's gonna be good for like singular reads, like really good for roll in calls. People are gonna have to think a lot harder about rolling in.
Rolling in, yeah, honestly, they lose a lot of value.
Yeah. So which is like crazy to think because of how the game is designed. Like a lot of the time, like unless you're getting hard called out, you can just call that out, and because like if they rolled and you press a button a lot of time, you'll lose because the game is just not really that reactable. But now you can actually just like have button insurance. It kind of feels like because you back air and slingshot forward air. If they roll after the back air, they're getting hit anyway. Like they'll actually just get forward air like out of the back air animation because they're just buffering slingshot forward air, and it doesn't matter because like unless your roll and like up tilt has came through already by the time like the forward air is not released yet, you're getting hit. So it's gonna make scramble situations like super multi-layered. That's all I'm thinking.
Multi-layered is a great way to describe it. It's going to be so exciting to see what players do with it and
Yeah,
just be comfortable in ultimate scramble, right? Instead of push a button immediately, frame 2 down tilt, frame 6 up tilt, right?
yeah.
Put it out. Right? Like, no, you'll play the scramble a little bit smarter now, right?
Yep.
Um, so that's gonna be very exciting. Not too worried about it right now, but obviously down the meta, it'll definitely be another option to consider. But I'm happy to see that players are actually taking the initiative. I know people were very, very nervous that Gamers Phantom Footstool was, kind of a flop, but it was still good, right?
Yeah,
Um,
I still use it.
with, yeah, I still use it too. You know how many times I burned my jump, realized focusing wouldn't work, pressed the jump button and gotten down for free, right? It
Yep.
just things like that, right?
Great disadvantage option, especially when people want to smash attack you. You just footstool off like the charging of the smash attack. I'm like, oh, thank you, makeshift
Thank you. Yeah.
platform. But
I've been using it as a way to recover recently, actually. I
yes.
realized, well, I'll burn my jump, and instead of like tatsuing or focusing, I'll like mass jump on top of the opponent, and then I'll like phantom footstool them off trying to be
That
low, and I'm like, oh, thanks for the extra jump. See
that
ya,
feels the
right?
best when it works. Feels the best when it works. I have to say. But okay, so slingshot, it looks promising, right? But I need to see more to be convinced at this point. Like, I just need to see more from it other than like because I feel like right now it'll win you like a scramble or two. It'll win you a few neutral interactions. But like you said, I think it's gonna come down to how overall important the movement is, and I feel like it's either going to be one of those things that have a great impact on everything or it's just going to be like for those one or two interactions. There's like no in between really.
I agree.
It'll probably be
And
character dependent, but
what do
sorry
you think
leading
is
on
gonna,
what you said.
or who do you think is gonna benefit the most from it?
Lucas.
Okay, duh, right?
Lucas. I'm telling you, I've been preaching Lucas is a messed up character. That's all I'm saying. But aside from Lucas, how are we feeling about like Croy? Not well, probably not Roy too much because he doesn't really care to fade back with an aerial because he wants to keep going towards someone to extend combos.
Rom though.
Crom, yeah, I think it'll be better for Crom just because like that fadeaway aerial, he wants to space you out anyway. So Marth too,
Marth and
Marcina.
Wolf was not on my list. I think Space Forwarder with Wolf is gonna be so good. Like, just do that, right? Cover the space.
Oh my goodness, it's like Wolf's already really good. Now they're just giving him more ways to abuse his air drift. Maybe
Okay,
Yoshi. Maybe Yoshi. I don't know.
I've seen like Sling Bear, Sling Nair being useful. Yeah,
Something.
Yoshi's
Probably
got to do the air move already.
not as crazy as Swordies because you want that disjoint, right? But like
Mhm.
Yoshi could do something. He can move.
What lower tiered character do you think has the potential with this tech?
Hmm. I need
Is it weird if I say Isabel?
you explain yourself.
Super safe Nair or forward air into Sling Away, Slingshot.
Not the slingshot. Slingshot.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that drift and control. They jump, you up air. They go away, you keep slinging. They go rolling, you delay your slingshot. But also, he could already do that though, because he could just do dash away back air instead of forward air. So you don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
need it.
But it's just like the frame tight stuff. Like you're not. It's gonna be so much harder to get slabby punishes.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna. It's also like the convenience, like 7 frames and a bufferable way to do it. Like pretty convincing, like in terms of just
Yeah. Let me.
utility.
Okay, that was a
It's a
good
very generous window.
question. I'm actually looking up ultimate frame data right now because I'm like, what lower tier characters could actually make a lot of use out of it? Link.
Payroll.
Well,
Link actually is a
Link's
good one.
not lower tiered. But imagine Link does like bear on your shield and fade back fair. How are you challenging that?
You're not going to
Yeah,
challenge that.
you're just not. You have to hold that. So I feel like moves like that, right? Like that's kind of what I'm looking at. Oh, what about how safe is Mewtwo? Mewtwo's aerials are that like kind of they can
Forward
do
air
it.
is really safe.
Yeah, Mewtwo might be a menace with like back air or forward air on shield into slingshot like retreating forward air like a jump check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of good characters that can kind of just take advantage of like
yeah.
hurt box shifting, right? Especially for Mewtwo. But more importantly, I think it's the positioning you can get from like people who love dashing away and then eventually get aerialed on because they're stuck in their dash animation. Like for example, you could do like Link would back air your shield with -3 back air, then just run away and go for like a boomerang. I just nair through the boomerang and hit him all the time when I fight Links, right?
Oh,
But
so if
now you
he.
can like swing me with the
Oh
sword and oh,
no.
change, right? Yeah.
Okay. What about
There's some good
Sora?
stuff. And I've seen some good stuff with Sora, but that character is
Okay.
still a mystery to me. What do you think about Sora?
Ah. Um. I think when optimized, that character could be a top tier. Um. Sora has like the Nair loop stuff. I haven't
Mhm.
seen a Sora optimize that stuff yet, but Sora has projectiles. Sora has like freeze and fire, which combos into dash attack or grab, and he has like thunder when it works. On top of like, I think back air is pretty strong. And let me tell you, what no one talks about that Sora gets away with like he gets away with a bunch of stuff with it. His counter is not okay, dude. It's not. His counter is not okay, and anyone who
have
thinks his
you
counter is okay has not experienced it yet.
have you played against the Sora that grabbed one of your grenades, countered, and killed you at 50?
I played against Ziga Sora, and he hasn't done it at 50, but he's done that.
Okay, okay,
Like
okay.
town and city edge guarding like that, that's rough. I don't throw grenades at
So
Sora at
rough.
town. Like no. But his counter is crazy good. It's a crazy good move that if you sometimes Soras will get caught on startup from it, which is like the only like downside I've seen. But if you're not getting caught on startup, that move is insane.
That move
Like
is really good.
it is broken. Like if you get if Steve Diamond F smashes, I've died at 40 because I got
Yeah.
countered by Sora, and I'm like
And unlike Sephiroth, it can't break, so you can just keep
nope.
using it
You have to hold it, and you have to hold it repeatedly.
repeatedly.
Like
Oh, man.
very good
That's so
move.
funny. Very underutilized and under talked about move. I feel like another move that Sora no Sora players talk about, or like any player, is the hit one of forward tilt. that thing hits so low, and if you just
Oh,
guess
okay.
right, people just die.
Not
It's a
the
gates of hell angle, yeah.
the initial smack of the
Yeah.
keyblade. Oh
He
my
he just like,
goodness.
"What?" Right? He just takes you away. Um, it's super, super funny, but he
Yeah.
has good moves. He's just hard to get going is the big thing. He needs to do his Disney jumps and his floats, right, before he
Yeah.
can actually play Smash Ultimate, right?
Yeah, and like being floaty is not. It's oftentimes more of a blessing than a curse, or more of a curse than a blessing in my eyes. Because like when I see a Joker or a Fox, or on it, funnily enough, Link, they all have a short hop property that speeds up their descent off of a short hop, and that's why if they short hop in front of your shield, you can't react to whether it's going to be a rising aerial or a falling one or a grab. So every time you're in there, like in close enough to where they can do that, you're playing their vortex. So it's like playing a vortex against them is considerably harder because of how fast they can fall, because you just can't react. It's not humanly possible to. So it just makes it a guessing game. So when you play against someone like Sora, he's not doing that. He's getting up there, but it's taking him a minute. He can fall. He falls like faster than most floaties, so that's like something that's good for him. But him getting up there is still, he's jumping like Mario. So it's like,
And he has
um,
safe destroys to help him out
yeah,
too, but it's just a matter of, get going, right? Add to the fact that the 3 characters you mentioned, I think all have a higher fastball speed than the rest of the cast. I think
yes,
they're at
yeah.
90
I picked
compared to the
those three
standard
out
60.
specifically because they all have that
Yeah,
attribute.
yeah, compared to the standard 60, and Pichu has a weird number, Plant has a weird number, I
Yeah,
think Shadows have
I
a
don't
weird
know
number.
specific numbers, but I know that those three are the fastest, and other ones are a little different. But like those three in particular are the ones that I play against. So I'm like, should have guessed better. I'm like, okay, like you got me. Like those ones
Exactly.
are rough.
Yeah, so super good stuff. I think it's gonna be exciting to see how that character print turns out. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to see just like there's a lot that this game is going to change in the next 6 months, especially with another summer of Smash. So I'm really looking forward to it all. Um,
Oh, that's a good ender actually right there. I know what I can lead
yeah,
that
well,
into.
I'm good at bookending things. I like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, your ends are on
I'm a
point today. Let me tell you. Um,
yeah.
anyways, speaking of the summer of Smash, let me
Yes.
tell you all about my new, like one of my new favorite players, Akola, the Steve
Uh,
God, the Gold Week. So go to the beginning of this week, before Kagaribi 7 or Bonfire 7.
mhm.
I think it's my Suma top 7 or
Yes.
top
Yes.
number 7.
Yep.
So I believe it was an A-tier event. Very very stacked event still. Like Kagaribi is more stacked than everything, so like that event is insane. And actually, on top of Akola, I can get into Dio's run, and you can get into Asimo's run. We can
Sure.
also do that as well. But Akola was talked about, and everyone right now, there are two sides of the Steve argument. There are the Steve believers, and then there are the people who believe that Steve is going to fall off with matchup experience.
Mhm.
Where I'm at on that debate is I think Steve's a top tier. And I think that on paper, you could argue that his base stats will hold him back. But I feel like blocks in his kit, there's no solution that you can come up with that he can't counter. There's no
Sure.
solution that you can make that's impossible for Steve to solve, even with positioning, because then he just has to play the game like a normal character until he gets you into a position that he wants. And that's kind of where I feel like Akola shines. He's
Mhm.
He's not as diamond heavy as other Steves unless he needs to be. Look at the T
Mhm.
Pac-Man set. That's where he's the most
Yep.
diamond heavy because Pac-Man's pacing is going to be super slow. But Aquila like plays the game more often. There's a whole PG stats video based on his diamond like obtain rate usage percent. So it's like
Mhm.
how many diamonds does he get per game? Like I believe Jake's run at Glitch had like an average of like 5 or 6 a game, and he had like an average of between like 3 to 4 most games. But sometimes he got 6 in the campy sets. But in general, past everything, not going to ramble on. Akula is very, very good at like Steve, and someone took him to FD Yoshidora, so Yoshi Steve is a notoriously hard matchup, and then he counterpicked Kazuya on FD, and I was just
That's
like,
so funny.
he is the embodiment of these characters that people are theory crafting to be the future of Smash. So I think Akola is gonna be here to stay personally. How are you feeling about everything that went on in Japan this week?
I am really excited to see new names pop up. I think it's always exciting when somebody out of nowhere, right, or somebody that's only talked about very rarely just comes in and starts trashing a scene, right? Um, I think it's really, really cool because he's young. He feels like the
Mm-hmm.
spiritual successor to Zachary, who's now playing Unite more.
Yeah,
And
the
He's
Unite
playing a
grind.
character that is good for the current meta, right? Can't
Let's go,
be good up close,
Steve.
right? Steve, right?
Let's go.
Steve, in my mind, I've actually had this discussion with somebody yesterday where Steve and Kazuya are both characters that can simply do too much to the point where the layers of counterplay are too heavy to always have in one mind at
Yes,
one time.
yes, yes,
You need to
yes.
play against what the player chooses out of this wide array of tools, right? Are they going to do three high walls? Are they going to do crouch stats cancel shield? Are they going to do Kazuya double jump nair fair and then combo that and do an aerial on a platform into Ferps tech? Are they going to do Steve two high walls, mine for
Oh
gold,
yeah,
spam up tilt, and do NIL down tilt? These characters can simply do way too much.
they can play
So
creative mode quite literally in different ways.
pretty much,
Like
yeah.
they're
One is a
insane.
man with iframes, one is a man with blocks. What you have to deal with them one way or another with a fancy double jump and a fancy cart. Um, there you go. So I think it's really crazy to see how these characters get developed because they control so much of the game, and it's going to be on the players to adapt. I fought Yanni most recently at Genesis, and I went into that set with my tricks ready in case I needed to pull them out. And it was a matter of if Yanni pulled a trick of Steve, I was ready with the counterplay for Ryu. A good
Mm-hmm.
example is a three high wall and a forward smash through the bricks. He hit me with that earlier in the set. I ran up, charged focus, tanked the forward smash through the blocks, focused him, forward smashed him through the blocks, and then killed him for it, right?
Okay.
Stuff like that. You got to be ready for the tricks that they pull out, but you can't do it preemptively because they're dictating the pace, right?
Yeah.
Akola is very, very solid. When he comes to the US, he's going to wreak havoc. He's coming to Give Invitational. So
Yes.
honestly,
Oh, okay. I know Kagaribi people got invited, right? Like the top two placing people. So
yeah,
I just hope because Akola is only 15 or 15 or 16 at this point. I think he's 15 actually. But
yeah,
I hope he's allowed to like because like at that age like his
mhm,
parents might be like nah that's in the U.S. it's overseas so like they
yeah.
might not let him
You're going
go.
to a bald man's house to go play video game
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
15?
So it's like
Yeah.
I hope he can go because I really do want to see him, especially against like top North American players. Like that's gonna be an experience, but I think it'll happen eventually. Like you saw Zachary, whenever Zachary was doing really well in Japan at the beginning, he did eventually come to the Genesis where he got, I believe, fifth. I
Mhm.
think at his first Genesis, which is insane. Back when he was like the standstill wolf player.
Yeah,
So
crazy, right?
yeah, he came to the U.S. He wreaked havoc. I don't see why Akola won't. Like we are the U.S., the NA, or North America in general. We are not gods against Steve. Steve is still doing like particularly well over here, even if he's not winning things. Like Steve got top 32 at low tide, or I think I'm not sure if Yanni got. I'm not sure what Yanni got, but I'd
Top
like to say
16. Yeah,
yeah, top
16.
16. Like Steve is still doing it over here, so I feel like Akola, his style is Steve. He's very particular about like the different setups he goes for. He made very good use of like a slow minecart. So what he does, he'll do a 3 block wall and he'll wait for the bottom one to break a little bit and he'll set a minecart there and have it wait. And what it does is it uses the momentum on the broken block, so it's a slow minecart. So that's a
Mm,
slow moving command grab that is also like a slow moving hitbox at short hop range. And he'd add on top of that PBR bear, and Steve can place a block but cancel the animation of placing a block within 6 frames. So he can basically be facing you and then turn himself around in midair and backer you instead. So whenever
yeah.
people were at 100%, he would just go for diamond back airs out of minecart with that setup, and people would actually just get like stuffed out by it over and over. So I feel like it's gonna be the little stuff like that, and I think if he came over to the U.S., he would do very, very well. Like we definitely have harder matchups for him. Like in Japan, I don't think there's that many like Cloud, Sephiroth as much. Like there is some like Ken Sephiroth, but there's not that many Pithras. There's not that many just swords in general to like super stuff Steve out. Like that's you
Roy
know
Prom especially.
yeah, Roy Crom and Final Fantasy. Like
Yeah,
those two are the ones that stick out for me. But
agreed.
I definitely think that it's not a Steve thing. It's Akola. So if he travels more, I would love to see it because he won both of the events. He won my Suma top 7 and Kagaribi 7. He won both of them in a week. That is insane. He's gone to 5 offline tournaments. I'll like end my Akola talk here and gotten
Yeah.
fifth or no, not fifth. There's 5 tournaments. He gotten second, first, and first.
Yep.
He got second at his first offline like big tournament and then just won everything else. Like that's insane. Props to him.
Yeah. Huge
Um
props. And
yeah.
you could say that it's good for his he's fighting the Japanese meta, so he's not ready for traveling international. But really,
No,
who is and who's
he
going to
that
be ready
like
for it?
I think when he comes like overseas, I honestly believe that he's gonna do better than people think. Like if people
Me
sleep
too.
on him and like don't like he's top 8ing our majors. There's no way he's not. If not better, like he's definitely top 8ing U.S. majors for sure. He's that good. But it's just like when he comes over here, can he deal with the jet lag? Can he deal with the pressure? It doesn't seem like he won Kagura 7. It didn't pop off. So that to me makes it seem like pressure won't be a problem for him because at that
Yeah,
point like he's just having fun. Like when there's no like emotion, that means like there's no emotion to rile up, right? So there's no like nerves, they're not there. He's literally just playing Minecraft. So it's like there's no reason that it'll change when he's over here. That's how I feel. So I have very high hopes for him. uh
I agree completely.
yeah.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Very excited. We're both in the same line of thought, so I'm very happy to see that.
Yeah, no.
Um, talking about Dio.
Follow me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Dio, what probably my favorite snake to watch at the moment. Like when I'm not VOD reviewing myself, I watch Dio. Definitely, he could definitely be the best snake in the world. I am gunning for that title right now. But
Mhm.
if someone was like Dio is the best snake in the world, I wouldn't disagree. Like he's really creative with what he does, and he's doing a really good job of combining how the Japanese snakes would camp and like set up their trapping with like really good boxing mix ups. So it's like his the usage of his Nikita, the usage of like his grenade tricks, like he does the dodge grenade stuff a lot. He'll like air dodge, and during the middle of the invuln of the air dodge, the grenade will blow up, and he'll use that to get out of the corner. And he's overall just like a very scary snake to, I'd say, fight. And it's very interesting to watch his different style because he'll do a lot of fast fall down airs and like see if you buffer shield, and then go for like fast fall down air grabs. So it's like all this stuff I'm really interested to see, and I'll definitely be like trying to take more stuff as I go because he ended up getting fourth, only losing to Gact. And I grinded with Gact for an hour at Pound. We played Snake Nest for an hour, so I couldn't help but think, I'm like, I wonder how much that helped. Like if we didn't grind, what could have happened? But I was like, I was very excited watching Dio, so I'm super glad that like it's been a minute since I've seen a snake that's like inspired me pretty hard. You know what I mean? Like that it's given me big inspiration for the future, and Dio is definitely like one that fits that build. So I'm super happy about that.
It's very good to hear. Two questions for you. One's more of a comment. There seems to be a common trend of you giving Snake experience and the opponent doing very well against Snake. I don't want to say any names, but I know I beat a certain Colorado Snake because I had experience against somebody.
Oh, shout out to
I don't want to
Kronos.
say.
Shout out to
Bro,
Kronos.
I love you, man. I hope I want to play again soon. You're so cool.
Yeah, but no,
But
you've been doing it up in the snake matchup. Huh? I saw that Lime made a tweet about it.
yeah,
I was
little bit of
like,
Snake
okay.
experience. It was a long way. A couple Frosty games, you know.
A
Oh
Frosty
man.
Games, and then boom, you got it.
Yeah.
Super
Oh
psyched to
man.
see. Always love to see it.
Oh, so good. I can't wait to play you again soon. That's gonna be a hot
For
set.
sure, for
Oh
sure. What about
man.
Asimo?
Let's talk about Asimo. I'm in the same line of boat with you. I think it is insane because I haven't been motivated to watch a Ryu in a long time, since maybe Munikin back in 2019 when he started playing the characters for the first time. So seeing another Ryu do it really well was shocking because I feel like I haven't seen anybody else play the character to such a high level in the new current, post quarantine era. One of his sets that I really like to watch was against Masa, a Falco, because
Oh,
I had lost to Tilde before, and I was like, what is he going to do differently? And his control of mid range without relying solely on aerials, fireball, or tilts, with just movement and grabs, was very good to see.
okay.
I also really like that. And then beating Proto, T, Futo, the King K rule, and then Gacked in a reverse 3-0. That was really shocking to me because I had lost to Send and uh, Atada and Ness.
Yeah.
So watching somebody else do it in these matchups that aren't easy for Ryu, but they're also not difficult. I'm a fan of Ryu's having just like a bunch of even matchups, but he's very solid, and it's good to see the patience played from somebody else that isn't my brain. So I'm very happy to see
Yeah.
that.
And
Um,
oh, that's
also definitely a gunner
very.
for best Ryu in the world. So it's good to have competition, and it's good to
Yeah,
be ready to
that's
learn.
kind of where I'm at as well with like that part in particular.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
motivating, right? And it's really, really good when you have rivalries and also players outside of the country, like, really pushing for that
yeah.
title is really, really cool. And it's motivating because you can kind of push forward and try and do new things. And honestly, dude, it feels good to have Ryu VODs, honestly. I there's no
Yes, yes,
there's
yes,
no Ryu
yes.
VODs. I,
The
I I looked at Smash 4 Trella VODs to find VODs of certain matchups. I watched Trella versus 8-Bit Man from 2015 to try and help me with Rob, bro. I've been looking for any Ryu VODs, and I finally
I
got
feel
some. So I'm
that.
like, you know what? Based. Anyway,
I feel that.
um, I'm sure he's my favorite Ryu to watch at the moment. And the crazy thing is, at Genesis, I asked Takeda through a translator, who's a Shoto main you have your eyes on to make the come up? And he said Ashimo. And certain enough, Ashimo, he made
Yeah,
a run at Kaguriri. So super great stuff.
he knew. He had the feeling, and he knew about it. Let's see. So aside from that, I think this week might be a bit of like a shorter episode. And in terms of just like what's going on for us, like this has really been like my relaxing week in terms of traveling. Recently I got 13th and 7th at Pound and Low Tide respectively, and for the rest of the month I'll be at Back in Blood tomorrow, and or I think it starts Saturday, so I'll be at Back in Blood for Saturday, and then after that I should be at MomoCon, and then that'll kind of be the end of my season for now. I do have things planned in June, but like I think May is the end of the PGR season, so I'm gonna do my best to make a run for PGR because that has been one of my goals ever since I started competing, because like in Smite I was like a console pro, but I never made the PC league, so I'm like I'm really just trying to make sure that I do cement myself in Smash, you know, like it's one of those things where I've been able to climb like super high in games before, but I really just I the first goal is PGR, and then after that I personally want to shoot for top 10 in the world. I think I can do it. I believe Snake can do it. So I'm just like one of those things where as long as I commit, I believe in myself fully to do it. So I'm like, it feels like I'm close, right? Like I'm getting seeded super good at majors. Like I got seeded 16th at low tide, and I was the only person in top 8 who wasn't seeded to be there. So it's like that feeling is insane, and I think I'm just getting started. So it's like I just really want to do my best and all that good stuff, and I'm sure you feel the same way, especially like the Genesis run and all that good stuff. So it's just like I feel like these next few months are going to be exciting for Smash, but they're also going to be exciting for us too.
Exactly. I'm in the same boat with you. Coming back from two majors and just chilling out. It feels good to like transition and be back in like normal life,
Yes,
which I feel like I
yes.
haven't been in since maybe early March. But even then, that was like a grind because of finals. I it feels good to just have like a couple weeks where I'm like, all right, let's wrap up. Transition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of like novelty and new, and I think going from the past 7 or 8 weeks, I had been to I think 2 months. I had been to 6 or 7 different states.
Ooh.
Nevada for Vegas, Cali for Genesis, Kansas for Lua, Texas for Low Tide, Maryland for Glitch, and Illinois, Chicago because I'm here, right?
Yeah.
6 different states, and we passed through Missouri, I guess, on the way to Kansas. So 7 different states, and I've been like this world warrior that's been traveling around, and just like you, I'm in the same boat of like it feels really good to just be back in school for like a month, enjoy, chill, close the book on this next year, and then head into summer with a whole bunch of new prospects to look forward to. A lot of
Yeah.
new. This past Wednesday at Ignite, a lot of the semester kids came back from school. I got to say hi to Veery, Pix, all those guys. So it felt really, really good to just
Yeah.
see them. Joe, right? Joe is a Georgia, formerly Chicago, but
Oh, he's formerly Chicago?
he's from Chicago. He studies in Georgia. Studies CS over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, Joe is hype. I was watching him at the Georgia
yeah,
logo. I was popping up. I had no idea it was a
yeah.
Chicago
Joe
native.
Chicago.
That's super hype. Let's go, Joe.
He's so So this season, so Atada came back too. Like, dude, this season is going to be
Oh,
exciting.
dude.
Combo Breaker is my next event, and that'll wrap up PGR season.
Oh
We'll see how
yeah,
that
dude, I'm
goes.
excited to see you there. Like I'm really excited to see you at
Um,
Combo Breaker. I believe in the Icon
oh my
Dove.
god!
I believe.
If I don't get seeded into Mars, I think there's a chance I can take the tournament personally.
I
But
believe.
Mars is crazy good, so we'll see. But I'm very, very excited. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. You're gonna tear it up at MomoCon,
Thank
right?
you, thank you.
Uh,
So
It's
I'm
gonna be
like,
fun. Have you never been to Georgia? Sorry, I can't talk.
I'm one of my homies lives there, and it's he basically for 1 week before whenever Smash World Tour Championships were going on. I didn't make it out to Florida that time, unfortunately, but I did stay in Georgia for a week, and that's where I learned that the Joker matchup was losing. Um,
Mm.
I played Omega in 6 sets, and we went 3-3. But like when Omega was on point, I got farmed. Like I was getting advantage stages super hard. Like he was playing it mad well, and I was like, I didn't know it was like that. But aside from that, like I got to play Sonito. Omega's the homie. It's like everyone in Georgia's super cool. I really enjoy that scene. The Georgia scene. If you've never been there for like a Smash tournament, definitely go there. Like Cola, the homie, Wrath is cool. Like all their players are just like super chill, down to earth, like just cool dudes, and they're pretty funny as well. So it's like that scene is definitely awesome. So shout out to all of them. I really do enjoy Georgia, and I went to MobaCon Winterfest. Unfortunately, everyone was pretty much at Smash World Tour Championship,
Mm.
but I think overall would definitely go again. They have like
Cool.
the Maji Weekly that they
Yes.
always advertise. If you go in there and you enter the tournament, they give you like a free drink of like boba tea. So you can
Dude,
order like the free drink over the counter, and you get like it to play with and like drink the tea during your tournament.
when you come to Warp Zone, we need to get food or boba together.
Down?
Please. Down.
You heard it here, y'all. Like yeah. Oh yeah,
Down.
I will also
And we'll
be.
get a picture.
That's a good point. That'll be like the start of my summer in terms of like regional stuff. I'm going to Warp Zone.
Mhm. Yes.
Um, so to
So
have
hold on.
us,
For you, it's Warp Zone, Double Down, Smash Con, Riptide.
yes, so far. And
So far,
then
I'm with you. Yeah.
I maybe Shine because I've never been to a Shine, and I think it'd be cool to go there. Um,
Mhm.
mm,
Shine's a question
I need
mark
to
for
get
me.
my passport eventually because I do want to go to Gommel. Gommel seems pretty
Okay.
cool, and then maybe Smash Factor too. Like later down the
Ooh.
line, I think Smash Factor would be super good. Oh yeah, Rise and Grind. You'll see me there. I'm going to Rise and Grind. That tournament's gonna be
Oh.
stacked. If you can make it there, you should. It's in Texas. It's in
Uh.
Waco instead of wherever Low Tide was. Waco,
Yeah. Okay.
Texas.
Um.
That's gonna
Those
be
four I listed.
August.
Is that
You
early?
might be in school. It's like the end of August, like August
No, no.
24th.
I'm quarter. I start end of September.
Oh, well yeah, it's like end of August. I'm pretty sure. Barbecue on site.
Ooh.
Oh,
I might be
dang.
moving. I might be moving out of Chicago back to NorCal for a month, but
Oh yeah, true. So
yeah,
you'd have to fly from
yeah.
there. That might be a little pricey.
I really don't know what my schedule is for August yet, so I'm kind of like a question mark besides SmashCon. But the three that I mentioned before, Lancelot in chat, yo, what's up, dude? Good to see you, bro. Oh man, sorry, I had to give shout out to that guy. I love him. Yeah, so we'll see what we can do. I'll make plans, but the four that I mentioned are for sure,
Yo.
which is for summer season, Chicago Regional in Warp Zone, Double Down in Vegas, SmashCon in Virginia, and Riptide in Ohio.
Okay. You heard it there, folks. That's where you can catch Icon. That's where you can catch him.
There you go. You'll
Oh,
catch AK at all those places, dude. This
yeah.
summer's gonna be lit,
No.
bro. I am ready. I've never been more ready to just like be out of
Yeah.
this dorm room into my summer apartment. Like I'm ready to go, dude.
I would be down to try to
Oh,
go to Port Priority as well.
I'm also confirmed for Port. I have a friend over there, so I need to go visit him. So I'll be there.
Okay. I'm looking. I'm definitely looking to. I'm not sure if I'll be able to, but I'm definitely interested because November is my birthday month. So if Port Priorities are on my birthday, I probably won't be there. But if it's like
When's your birthday?
it's November 5th,
Sweet.
um, so like the first week of November. If it's like later than that, I'll probably be there.
Oh, it's 12, 13.
12, 13. It's the possibility I'll be there just increased. Talk to
There
you
you
this
go.
weekend. Sounds good, Sensory.
Perfect. We've kind of just seamlessly transitioned into chat questions because we can
Yes, because
do
like
chat.
we kind of talked about everything we really needed to this week. A lot of stuff that happened this week was like Japan stuff, and it's really funny that the two characters that popped off, except from Akola, are Steven or Snake and Ryu, like
Hikaru,
our
yeah.
mains, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think Dio was set to make that far, and Gak was there already. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Oh, that's a great question. So Rickles asked us, "What are your guys' thoughts on the Doobert discussion doubles team? We did do doubles at low tide. We got 17th. Were difficulties based more on team composition or synergy? It means more time to develop. Both, in my opinion.
Both.
Um, our synergy was not there, but we did work through some stuff in the span of like 4 sets. So like
Yo, we learned so much.
yeah, we learned a ton. There were goofy interactions, and I think like team comp didn't really come into play until our last set. Our last set felt real hard. Like they had us met like we were getting zoned out by Zillion and Grayson, I believe was his
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
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 they were playing Rob and Robin, like the Rob like parentheses in like that team, and then
yeah.
um they would just blow my shit up and zone out Ryu, and I was like, huh, uh, I don't I don't
Interesting.
have a solution to this. So we ended up getting 17th. I had a shit ton of fun, so I definitely got
That
my
was a
money's
lot
worth.
of
Like I
fun.
had a lot of fun from that.
That was probably my favorite run at low tide, honestly. I definitely like funner than anything else beforehand. I'm a huge fan of just like doing that kind of stuff. It's something that I want to try. We have a lot of thoughts in hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, C4 is like a very funny move, especially with focus attack.
Sure, you C4.
And
Oh yeah, focus C4. I can
yeah,
blow it up and you can
and
armor it. That's cool.
what I want to see is you down throw and me focusing on top of the opponent to cover everything besides roll in, which you cover.
We should
Yeah,
have said
right.
that. We should have said that. That's broken because you focus through the get up attack.
Yeah, exactly.
You just gotta make sure you space it to get hit by one and not the double hit. You know what I mean? Like
uh,
the two hitting get up attacks. But I'm not
yeah. If it's a two hit, but
like we
yeah.
can't do that with Captain Falcon. His get up attack is so good.
Dude, I hate Cloud's get up attack. Cloud's off ledge. That thing is so big. Have
Captain
you seen that?
Falcons will break your
God,
shield. Be careful
it's so.
shielding Falcon's get up
Why
attacks.
do they do so much
I
shield
don't
damage,
know.
dude? Who asked for
I
that?
don't
Oh my god.
know. But
Okay.
that was a great question, Rickles.
Yeah, good question. It was good.
Moving on to the
I
next
forgot
one.
the next. Yeah,
You
you
got
got
this
it.
one. You got it. No, you got it. I insist.
Fine. Okay. How do you guys go about creating your bracket level of play or alternatively raising your match to match consistency, whether it be option selects or macro play? Um, I think I play better the longer the bracket goes, personally. So a lot of it comes down to like being ready in the moment to adapt to any style of play. So for example, um, I'll go on record saying this. I think winners quarters at Ignition is the hardest set to win at Ignition, solely because you can't play the same way against top level players as you will against lower level players, and you have to be aware
Yeah.
of that. Like, I think a big thing is checking the opponent to see if they let you play at a higher level, right? Because if you're gonna let me jump off ledge every single time, or tilt your shield, or nair your shield every time, right, or throw fireballs for free,
I'm gonna just do
then
that.
I'm not gonna stop doing that, right?
Yeah,
Exactly, right.
that's awesome.
However, if you're Sam T and you're gonna kill me off stage at 20, then we're gonna start talking a little bit, okay? Prankster gangster, okay? So a lot of it comes down to the level of the opponent that you're fighting. I think the first stock of the first game tells you a lot about if they know what to expect, and then once the adaptation starts, you adapt back, etc. Not making any unnecessary calls, but getting the information you need to play against the opponent is
Yes.
something I value a lot.
Yes.
And I'm sure you
Yes.
have something to say on that too.
Okay. So for me, I got cheat codes. I have I like to call it grenades. They're like the little information pieces. Like when I throw grenades a lot of the time, I don't really care if they hit. Uh, I think Snake is a character that should confirm on reaction, but set up for other situations entirely. Like I'll get the grenade up air if I see the grenade go off, but most of the time, like what I'll do is I'll take a few interactions to gauge interest, and
Follow me.
a way that I like to, I guess, achieve consistency is I kind of like break down the character's tools in the character's punish game, and I'm like, what is the lowest value thing here? So like, let's use Rob for an example. So I have Luma in my region, very good Rob player, top 100, probably PGR player. Honestly, just needs to travel more. Colorado and Luma for sure.
So many top
Um,
100 players, it's insane.
it's insane. Like literally innovating the Snake Inkling meta at our weeklies. It'd be like that. But anyway, in general, Luma, if I'm playing against Rob, I'll take the grab at low percents. Because Robs will do that thing where they pick up gyro and they start Z catching and they do Z drop nair, Z drop nair, Z drop nair. But if you make them grab you there, the only thing you're gonna eat is up throw forward air. So it's like, would you rather take the zero death from the Z drop nair by trying to do something about it or challenge it, or would you rather play the patient game and just risk getting grabbed, but you only take like 30 because up throw fair, and then it's like a mix up situation, so you can like go from there, but none of it's guaranteed. When if they hit you with that Z drop nair, that's guaranteed. So it's like you need to take into account the character's tools, and you need to take into account what gives them the most value. And when you go from there, you're able to basically you can make a play that is safe or more unsafe depending on the amount of risk acquired with it. So it's like it's not a bad thing to do something inherently unsafe if they can't if they can't kill you for it, right? So like if the worst thing I'm gonna eat is like a whiff punish that's like snake dash attack, for example, like it's a very good move, don't get me wrong. But if you're not killing me and I'm only getting dash attack, that's okay. Like I'm always focused on preserving stocks. I'll let you hit me at that dash attack, but I'm not letting you hit me at the down smash. You know what I mean? So it's like in those scenarios, I'd say learn how to not only avoid moves, but learn how to avoid specifically the kill moves. And when you learn what your opponent's kill, like what kill moves your opponent's looking for, it's just a really good clue into how to play around their plan. So it's like I wouldn't say it's like a plan or like a macro that you can adjust. I'd say it's just feeling out the player you're playing against while like comparing that and pushing that against risk and reward for the character.
I agree. And it's really important because I think that's something I want to work on recently is avoiding kill moves.
Yeah.
Sam T really pushed me that day yesterday, and I'm really focused on just trying to preserve stocks because you need to be able to still play a really solid ground game and focus game without giving up stocks. Because if you do, you have the chance of getting reversal on the next stock. Because if people say last stock, last hit all the time, and low key, I feel like if it's last stock, the game is always last hit. Like
Yeah.
honestly, with some characters punish games, like if Kazi gets me the last stock, it's last stock, last hit. If Rob gets me the last stock, it's last stock, last hit. Because
True.
he just needs a couple things to get,
Like
right?
especially Kazuya. My brother was a Kazuya player, and he was showing me like all the zero deaths. So it's like that character. As soon as he takes a second stock, I was like, oh, it's even. Like it's even, bro.
Cypher says, do you structure by playing a basic macro, or can you check them and then make the adjustment? You can do both. Do whatever you
Uh,
want. Have a basic game plan. Check it at the
whatever.
start. You know how to escape the Falco Vortex, right? Do whatever you feel is right as a player.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that the way you go
There's
about
no
it,
right.
I think like it's very player dependent, very person dependent. So we can't like tell you something that could like solve most of your like the way you go about it. But what I will say is I find myself often slipping into one pattern of download or the other depending on the player I'm playing against. So I think depending on the person you're fighting, one style could be a better way to get information for like fighting that person compared to another person. So what I want to say is just be flexible with it. Like why not both type thing. Like don't overwhelm yourself and try to do both at the same time, but try like trial and error with both of them and see which one helps you get the better information. Maybe one set you do one and then the other set you do other. That's what I'll say.
Perfect. You can take the next one.
Okay, what meta do ultimate players have left to develop for the rest of this game's lifespan? I think people need to work on positioning and like just overall making the most out of their openings. The scariest thing about Leo and Spargo is whenever they get an opening, they take your stock for it. So if that starts happening, then characters will get brutally punished for making mistakes. And whenever people just get like the best idea of ranges and just like spacing and timing mix-ups, like all of those combined, it's going to get a lot harder and the neutral will become a lot more in depth for honestly everyone. So I think it's overall just making the most of those little openings and knowing like when it's time to push your advantage and when it's time to back off. I'm going to answer this question right away. Yes, Rickles, I do play Mario Kart. What about you, Icon?
Casually with my dorm friends, college friends, casual.
Okay. Well, I'd say casually with my brother, but my brother plays Mario Kart like that, Rickles. He's a competitive Mario Kart player. He's not really, but if there was a Mario Kart scene, he would compete. He's like giving up the Smash Dream for Mario Kart.
Which has a Mario Kart main and a
Yeah,
Mario Kart
Mario
vehicle.
Kart Bane. Bane's Bowser and Dry Bowser.
Wolf Pro asks, I don't really have any specific questions to be honest. Icon, what's your opinion on Wolf Ryu, Cloud Ryu? Play smart. Don't get hit by aerials. That's it.
Okay. You heard it here, Wolf Pro.
You
Shout
heard
out
it
to
here.
Wolf Pro as well. Wolf Pro has been on the come up in St. Louis. He recently got a Tony Z Tank win at Level
Yeah.
Up Arena. I think it was Lua
And
4. So like Wolf Pro stonks on the rise. Pythagorean theorem is very great. Wolf Pro, thank you, thank you.
I'm personally more of a quadratic formula fan.
All right, I can understand that, but I have to
Yeah,
double down on the Pythagorean theorem here.
got you, got you.
Always have, always
Can
will.
you name the Pythagorean theorem off the top of your
A
head?
squared plus b squared equals c squared. Next
Dang.
question.
All right.
Quadratic
Next.
formula, go.
Oh, x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
I
I'm
remember the
surprised I got
jingle for it.
I haven't taken calc since last year. I'm surprised I still got that.
No, okay, so like in middle school,
Um,
there was like there's a jingle. It's like x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus
square
four
root of
ac
b
all over
squared
two
AC
a. But
over
anyway,
2a.
um, getting into the next
Uh,
question. How do you guys untilt? Um, I
you
so
don't. You don't. I'm the most tilted person of all time. You never, never. No.
just never,
You
just
stay
never,
on
never.
for the rest of your life.
What he said, but what
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
is like um classic Sam T Silver.
Yeah, you're
So
welcome. Prankster.
basically, how I'll do it is I'll be like, okay. I used to get like frustrated or think that what I was doing is like a bad play. But like the more respect I gave my opponent, the less it was a bad play on my part and the more it was a good play on their part. Unless you're pranking me, then you stay tilted forever. But
Oh, true.
aside from that, just like take it one interaction at a time, right? One interaction doesn't win the set, so one interaction shouldn't lose the set. You got to keep your mental together because if like I only play characters that I think can like are broken in comebacks. Like Steve is broken in comebacks, and I think Snake is really good in comebacks too. So it just gives me like confidence in my mentality to come back. I'm like, well, when they get hit by one grenade, sometimes they get hit by two. Sometimes they get hit by three. It turns into four. It turns into five. It turns into six, and suddenly it's even stocks. Oh yeah. That's true. That's true. Okay, so that's kind of how I feel about it though. Like, take it one step at a time, and any thought that's not focused on the game in that moment that could like be you doubting yourself or just you not focusing on what your opponent's doing is not a productive thought in that moment. Like in the set, you need to focus all your energy on it. So all the energy are not spent worried about tilting and not spent on like literally tilting itself. That's more energy you can put into the set and into your Smash play.
I second that notion fully. I feel like if you're not paying attention to the game, you're kind of wasting your time being there at the tournament. You came there to play. You didn't come there to get mad. Come on. You put $10 in, $15 for some majors and locals, right? Put the money in, play your best, enjoy, play how you want to play, and then learn from it at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's all you can really do.
We always learn around here. We always learn.
We always learn. What other questions do we
Okay.
have?
So that one's from Nor.
Also,
Question.
hi, Crit 5. Good to see you, my friend.
Yep. Okay. So let's see. A question I have in general is what conscious mental changes do you make from game 1 to game 2 or game 2 to 3 to increase the pressure? Um, okay, so I wing it. I do not really like in my head. I'm not really telling myself things like that really between like games. I'll do that between stocks where I'll see something that my opponent does and it's something always different. But if I really think it's like a bad habit or something I can exploit, I will remind myself to do the counterplay to that specific thing. And then what you can do is just like position yourself accordingly, and you can kind of like try to like bait it if you're not 100% confident. Because like for example, if I want to up tilt someone, I can start walking at them and see how they react. I don't just have to throw myself in their face and up tilt immediately. Because what happens is at top level play, you just get full hopped on and you die if you whiff. So I've started doing like information gauging things where I can just see my surroundings and make sure that the up tilt is like fresh. Like I'm cooking up an up tilt, like I'm grilling it up. So I got to make sure that like it's fully cooked up. Sometimes it's like it's not cooked enough. So like you gotta wait longer. So it's like been able to really help me gauge that. So I'd say like just patience changes and timing changes are overall. If you position yourself well, you can like make a lot of stuff work with just those things combined. Like
I
as
think
long as
remembering the alternative is a very smart move. You
yeah,
can't
that
do
too.
this in Leash Shield, but you can do this, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe pulling out more out of the bag of tricks for somebody else is going to be very, very smart. And then when they start adapting to that, they'll stop doing the initial option they did. Options on the table are very, very important. I think it's very not so much game difference, but rather interaction difference. Interactions still
Yes.
persist from game to game. So don't be afraid of just figuring things out through interactions and not focusing on the objective external factors like games or
Yeah.
stocks.
Like game 4 Leia. Perfect
Yes.
example.
Yeah,
Oh, that's actually a really good question as well. So, if we're done with that, I'm gonna move on to. I think I'll end it here because we're reaching about that point. So this is
sure, sure.
not as short of an episode as I thought. So pretty solid.
Mhm.
Been seeing a lot of talk about this recently. So to help some others, what do you think the biggest tips you can give for people having issues with VOD reviewing? So also, yes, I got you CMT Silver for sure. Um, so for VOD review, it's definitely one of the things where it's like when you see an interaction in neutral happen that is lost. I'm like, okay, what could I have done here to not lose the interaction? Like, what could I have done here to not do that? And then you keep trying it. You know what I mean? Like, you come up with a solution or maybe multiple. I'm a person who I'm very good at zoning in on one thing. So I'll zone in on one concept and hit that hard. Like for example, at my local yesterday, my goal was to ledge trap better because I felt like that was one of the issue or one of the areas I was lacking in whenever I lost Monday. I felt like that was really the area where I couldn't quite close it out. Is my like ledge pressure was not the strongest. So on Wednesday, I made especially sure to focus on that part, and I think it boded really well. So for me, it's one thing, but for some people, it might be like a list of things. So what I'll do is I'll just like I'll watch it a VOD and I'll be like, okay, this neutral interaction was lost here. What could have been done about it? And where like what was it? My positioning? Was it how I drifted? Was it like my timing on it? Did I need to wait a little longer? So it's like you take all that into effect, you come up with ideas, and then you just theory craft like a madman. And what you can do if you want to go the extra mile is like even if something works, you can theory craft what would you do if it didn't work. Like you can theory craft like what you said, different solutions, like different ways to go about answers or different ways to go about things. So it'll just give you like a more creative way of thinking because if someone does thwart your original plan, then you've already thought out the next three steps you're gonna try. Um,
I think it's very well said. It's very important to take the time with understanding not only what you're feeling in the moment, but also what you probably felt when watching back a pod. Don't be afraid to accept losses or accept opportunities where you could have done things better. Practicing that at a tournament level is like you did with, ledge trapping,
yeah,
is important for your growth because you're stimulating your brain to do things you haven't done before. So
yeah.
don't be afraid to play with that unknown because even though you don't really know what could happen, it's better to try it and have it fail than never try it at all.
Well said. Well said. I like the way you worded that.
Yeah, thank you. Thoughts on Ryu PT? I played a lot, very comfortable, very fun. Ivy's the hardest to fight, but you can play around her slow speed.
It's always
Squirtle's very fun to
Ivy.
box with, and Charizard is very fun to hit up air on.
Ivy's also the hardest to fight with my characters too. I don't know. Something about Ivysaur. Something
But
about
then,
that
but then,
character.
but then you trade with the character, then she gets put in disadvantage, then you take advantage of
Yeah,
the
Ivysaur on ledge. Ivysaur on ledge. But anyway,
my practice partner is also a PT Roy, so I play that matchup quite a bit.
got you. Well, I think I'm gonna call it there myself. So
Uh, Once again, huge shout outs to Evil Mega Steve for making this happen.
for sure,
This layout is very, very beautiful, and I'm
yes,
very thankful. GG's, Stampy Silver, GG's.
yes.
Um,
But thank you
I
so
said GG's in
much.
like four. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This was episode 4 of Doobert Discussion. I think
Yep.
we're probably gonna hit. How many episodes do you think we'll have by the end of the year?
Uh,
What's the
at this
target
point,
number?
I'm shooting for at least 20.
I'm thinking 20 to 25.
I think
Yeah.
that's realistic because some weeks we're gonna be busy, but other weeks I'm totally down. I'm totally down to shoot for 20. We can make our season until the end of the year too. That way, like
On a,
next season, we can come back or do some stuff like that, or just continue it.
yeah,
There's a
like
lot of like
Peacock season 2,
flexible.
right?
Yeah. But overall, thank you everyone so much for tuning in, so much for watching. More of this cool layout to come. Shout out to Evil Mega Steve one last time, and overall, just shout out to Chicago and shout out to St. Louis. Shout out to everyone watching. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the support, and we will catch you all later.
See you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.